everyone, it's Kat and I'm back today for my March check-in for my Project Pan series. So if you're new here and you don't know what this is, essentially every year I target a whole bunch of products, generally like a full face of makeup or close to it anyway, that I want to use up, and I just let you know how I'm going with it. So I use this makeup most of the time. There's going to be some categories where if I'm really inspired by eyeshadow, like obviously that area sort of gets neglected for maybe a month or so. Spoiler alert, this month that is eyeliner, because I've been playing around with coloured eyeliner. But if I sort of stick to roughly the same products most days, I can use them up, get them out of my collection, and sort of minimize my stash. I believe this month's check-in is a little bit late, but I've been quite busy and I did have one opportunity to film about a week and a half ago. Yeah, life's been busy. But I had a headache and I was like, I want to read my book in bed instead. So I did that. Pat on the back for prioritizing mental health. Go, you good thing. But let's start with the products that I've used up, because it has been a while. I have been using them and I have used some stuff up. And it just so happens to be all lip products. So the first thing I used up with the help of my kids who like to gouge their finger in it and use it is this really crusty old Kiehls butter mask for lips. So that is done. It's not my favorite lip mask. I much prefer Laneige, so I'm glad that that one's done. This was in like a travel bag of mine, and the reason it's so jacked up is because hand sanitizer leaked all over it, which compromised the plastic, but yeah, we're done. I also used up this little mini Kevyn Aucoin lip gloss. It was actually like a gold color, but because often I would put it over red, it tinted it pink, but you can see that there's really not much product left in it. So that one is done. I actually had to rush this because it was leaking. So whenever I had it on my desk, it would leak all over my desk, which was gross. And then a much bigger accomplishment was my MAC Huggable Lip Color in Cherry Glaze. I love this really beautiful glossy sort of bright red, and it was a fun summer or like warm weather red because you could sort of blot it down to be more like a vibrant lip gloss, or you can layer it up to be a really, really shiny red lipstick. So I love this, but it's done. I don't love it enough to gouge in there, but that's fully wound up. So that's enough for me. Now, normally what I do is I swap in products to replace anything I've used up. Now, I introduced this project with a lot of lip products and a lot of eyeliners. So I actually have plenty of lip products still to go, and I am finding that I find it hard to keep track of. So what I've been doing is sort of just using the same things regularly and ignoring the rest. So I've got enough that I can sort of use. I might down the track put in like a lip care product to replace this, because everything at the moment I have is sort of makeup, so like lip gloss. It might be hydrating to the lips, but there's color to it or whatnot. But I don't know what to replace that with just at the moment. I'm also going to be taking 3 items out. Now, throughout the last month, I've decided I don't like these or they're not really working. The primer I've been trying to use is the Missha B.B Boomer, which is like an illuminating primer. So it does have like this sort of iridescent shimmery pink to it. So it's supposed to illuminate the skin. I actually find that this stings a little bit when I apply it. So I feel like my skin does not like this, and therefore I'm not going to mess with my skin. So I don't want to like annoy, like I've done that before and I end up having like contact dermatitis flared up. So this is just going to go. I don't need it. I'm also planning on doing a declutter. I did say that in my last video. I'm still planning on doing it. I just haven't had time. But this is going to be just in the declutter pile because it's not good for me. I'm also getting rid of this Marc Jacobs eyeliner in Mist Me, which is this nice light purple color. It is super dry and it's really hard to get on the eye without really tugging it. And I especially was trying to use this on my waterline and it just wouldn't like transfer on there because it's too dry. Also, what I've done recently is buy some cake liners from Glisten Cosmetics where I can sort of mix this color if I really wanted it. And it's just applies a lot better. I just find that, again, this is sort of scratching my eyes when I get it on. And I'm like, this is not good for my skin. So this one is also going. And then lastly, I forgot I didn't forget I had this. I forgot it was in my Project Pan. I don't think I checked in with it last check-in. It was only when I was looking at my list, I was like, oh, this was in my Project Pan. So it's a little YSL Tatouage Couture Matte Stain. It's in this sort of pink color. It's not my color. I can mess with this color when it is like a sheer, like a glossy color. It's like, yeah, it's beautiful. I like it. As a bold, like this is bold, as a bold matte lip stain thing, it's not my color and I don't wear it. When I go really bold, it's like in one of two directions. Well, sometimes three. It's either nude, like a true nude for me, this is not. It's bright red, or it's a really vibrant like magenta or fuchsia pink. They're the sort of areas I go in when I'm going really bold. This I don't reach for, and even though this is a tiny little sample thing, it's still going to be probably a few months of use because it is so pigmented. So when I was thinking of doing my declutter, I'm like, this is going to go in my declutter. And I was like, oh, hang on, it's on my project pan list. I need to explain that. So that's what I'm doing now. And again, I don't feel the need to replace those with anything just yet. I don't have a primer in my project pan, but in reality, I don't really use primers, and I've got to go look through my drawers to see, are there any that I want to use? Because at the moment I don't really want to use one. So this one, I might bring a primer back at some point. But again, I've got plenty of lip products, plenty of eyeliner products in this project pan. So we're not adding anything new in. On to progress. I'm going to allude to this now. I have made some progress on my eyeshadow palette, but I have been told in the past, keep it till the end. Keep the suspense going. Don't give us what we want straight away. So you have to wait until later for that one. Let's start with base products. So my Lancome foundation, I love this. It's old and I've had it for ages and it was sitting in a drawer unopened for ages. I love it. I'm so glad I put it in my project pan instead of throwing it out. It is the wrong color for me. I don't know if you can tell, but it actually looks like I'm wearing fake tan when I just apply this. But that's why I add in my Mecca Max liquid lightener, I think it is. The name's rubbed off. I decided to start tracking this because it's an airless pump. It's going up, and then the sort of top of the little mechanism, I can now see it in this gap, so I've decided to mark it. But that's the progress I've made on the foundation. So last month here, down to there. These work so well together. This lightens it perfectly to my shade, and this wears so well. So it just looks beautiful all day. It gets to the point where I haven't looked in the mirror all day. I'm like busy doing whatever. I look in my mirror and I'm like, oh, I could like go out and face the world because my foundation is looking amazing, and it's great. So yeah, I'm really enjoying these. I'm not rushing it. It's just, I'm enjoying it. With powders, I have been really hitting up my Sigma loose powder. There is not much left. You can see here, like there's the smallest amount left. Look at that. Tiny bit, tiny bit. I will have weights on the screen of how much I've used, but this has been my main powder. My Nikkia Joy pressed powder, this is still in the project. I have, again, been using it only when I'm out and about for touch-ups. So I am making very little progress. There'll be photos on the screen of where I was up to last check-in. But again, I'm not rushing this. As soon as the loose powder gets used up, I will switch to this. But I know as soon as I switch to this as my sort of everyday makeup, this will be used up in like a week. So that's why I'm not too worried about that. Finishing spray, I've actually really calmed down on a finishing spray. So I've gone from here to there. And the main reason being is that I've been actually playing a lot with water activated liners. So that's what I'm wearing today. This sort of purple liner here is a water activated one, but it means I can't use a finishing spray because I risk wetting it and it smudging or dripping. So it's just a step that I forget to use. I sometimes activate the cake liners with this when I can't be bothered going to get some water. But yeah, I'll come back to this. So I'm not worried about this. This will be done soon enough. But yeah, people are going to say, put it on before you do your liner. Yes, I agree. I should. And I have done that a couple of times, which is why I've got a little bit of progress, but it's also something I forget to do because it is usually one of my last steps. So yeah, we'll make that work. Time for coloured cheek products, and I do have quite a lot of things in my project. I think my last check-in I mentioned using these Rare Beauty minis and trying to use them up before it gets to like winter, because I've got two others. These are like the warm colours. I've got sort of cooler colours that I can probably use more in winter. I didn't really do that, so that's probably going to be my focus this next month. I'll have weights of these on the screen. I've only used them a couple of times, I think, so there wouldn't be much progress. What I've been using a lot more is probably this combo. So I've got the M Cosmetics This is the Heaven's Glow Magic Hour Blush. So it's like a baked blush. It's got a little bit of sheen to it. I am wearing it today, so that's the color underneath, but I'm layering it with the highlighter. So this is the Nabla Ozone highlighter. I really like the combination. It's very pretty. So that's what I've been doing. This on its own doesn't have enough sheen. I need to really hit up the highlighter, but that's a good thing because I've had this highlighter in my project since last year, and I was using really shiny blushes and it didn't need a highlighter. So this combination I've been really enjoying. I like the effect. I like the color. It's a little bit peachy, a little bit pinky, not too bold, but not too much. So it sort of works every day with most, you know, makeup looks and outfits and whatnot. But this combination I really like. I'll have photo comparisons on the screen of this. Again, I think I have been using it down. It's one of those domed baked products, but I haven't, you know, hit pan or anything. And those domed ones, you can pick up a lot of product and use them fairly quickly, but to hit pan, because they're a dome and you sort of mainly take off the middle, it's the hardest part to hit pan on, so that's fine. And then I'll have photo comparisons of this as well. Again, I don't know if you'll see much. I can tell that I'm making progress on this. You might not be able to see them so much from the photos, but what I can tell is that when I use this, I sort of sweep my brush in the same spots, and the corners here are actually a lot higher than this middle part here. So I've sort of been wearing down a strip, if that makes sense. So I can tell that I'm using this a lot, and I have been really enjoying using it, which is great. I have used my Hourglass blush in Mecca Glow quite a few times, but again, not as much as that other combo. I've been preferring that other combo. This is a lot brighter pink, and when I do use this, I try to hit this section a bit more because it's got more of the highlighter sort of champagne marbling in it, because this is like a bolder color. And again, if I'm wearing a bright lip or bright sort of eyeliner, I don't want also really bright cheeks. So this one has been taken a bit of a backseat, but I have used it a few times. I don't think you'll see any progress whatsoever, but it's still around. Let's talk about eyes. I will have weights of my Kaleidos Tone Activator eye primer on the screen. I do use this again because I've been really hitting up colored cake liners or colored mascaras. That often is paired with like no eyeshadow or very little eyeshadow. So sometimes I haven't been using this as much because it's not a daily thing that I'm wearing. But if I'm wearing an eyeshadow or a bold-ish eyeshadow, I always use this. So it feels like it's getting a lot lighter. I just don't know the weights right this second. Last month I did also include or add in my iconic London Chrome Flash Eye Pot in Cosmic. Really beautiful. I have worn this a handful of times, but I prefer using this as like the statement on the eye. So I might pair it with more of a brown liner or a black liner. But because I've been going for color liner, I've been wearing more of a pared back eyeshadow. So this hasn't been the main thing I'm wearing, so there's not going to be much weight progress with that, but I'll have the update on the screen anyway. And then when it comes to my eyeliners, I have made very little progress. I'm wearing this on my waterline today. I have sharpened it a couple of times. It's a retractable pencil, so technically you can't sharpen it, but it does have a little sharpener down the bottom where you can sort of sharpen the tip. Now that is now currently clogged, so it's not working, so I've got to stop doing that. But yeah, I'll have weights of this on the screen because there's a little bit of progress there. With my Mecca Max brown eyeliner and my Revlon green eyeliner, I don't think I've worn them at all, so I'm not even going to bother with that. I have worn my Mecca Max liquid eyeliner a few times, so if I'm, again, wanting the eyeshadow to be the statement, but I want to like shape the eye, I'll go in for my black liquid liner, so I probably use this 3 or 4 times, not much. So there's very little progress with the eyeliner department, but I'm okay with that because I have been playing around with colored liner, which has been sort of the fun thing I've been incorporating. And like, I'm not going to give up what I'm currently sort of interested and excited for just to make progress on an eyeliner. Like, there's plenty of time for that. With my brow gel from Winky Luxe, I have used quite a lot of it. There is this chunk down the bottom that's hard to get. I've taken out the stopper so we can sort of try to do that. But you see that I've sort of been scraping the sides. Now I don't use clear brow gel too often. Like, I use it because I feel like I want to use it up. But I might give this another month, see how much I can get from that little bit there, and then just be done with it. Because again, I don't really use it. I don't really care too much about it. I'm sort of forcing myself to use it, which is not all that fun. Onto lip products. I know that there's a lot of progress on this lip liner. I really like it. This is a Colourpop lip liner in the shade Another Round. Really perfect color for me. If I just put it on all over the lips, it looks like a really nice matte lipstick for me. Otherwise, like what I've done today is I'll put it on a little bit and then put a lip gloss over the top. I think it's gorgeous. I have sharpened this a few times and I have to say that the lead keeps breaking. So I know that this has been sharpened down a lot. I'll have update on the screen of where I'm at. It's not due to usage. Maybe half of it's due to usage or a third of it, but a lot of it is because the lead is starting to break. And so if you sharpen it to a point, then you're like, oh, it's snapped out. So yeah, it is what it is. It's an old pencil. These things happen. I think I've used this Colourpop Lippie stick in Brat Pack maybe twice. So I'm not going to really worry too much about progress on that. I did for a while forget that it was in my project pan, but now again, I've sort of used up some lip products that I can sort of really force myself to focus on this. On me, this is like a nice sort of dark caramel nudie brown. And because we're going into autumn, it's a bit of a fun one to try to use up. So this one I'll be focusing on a lot more over the next few months. These two I've been using a bit more. So again, this Pat McGrath lip gloss, I'm wearing it today. And this is really good over that lip liner. So it's a combination that works really well for me. So this one I've seen some progress. If I do stand it up, it does settle, but I think I started weighing it. So I'll have weights on the screen of that. The Super Beauty Comfort Matte, I really like this color. This is Badnam. And it's a beautiful nude. I haven't really been opting for liquid lipsticks, but I really like the color of this, and it is a more comfortable liquid lipstick, and it's something that I can layer with the lip gloss, for example. So I'll force myself to use this more. I've only probably used it a few times. So again, not much progress, but that's fine. With the little mini Charlotte Tilbury Amazing Amal, I have used this a few times. It is very pretty. Again, this is more of an autumn color for me. So we're getting into that cooler weather. This is a really beautiful sort of pinky berry. I haven't used this one much. I was focusing on that cherry glaze one to use it up. This one is quite similar to the one I've decluttered, which is probably good because I don't need two of those. What I like more about this one though is that you can sort of blend it in and have more of a beautiful sort of rosy tint, whereas this is a lot more pigmented. Even though this is my only like non-nude lip product in my project pan at the moment, I do want to get progress on this, but I know that this color suits me most in the cooler weather. And even though we're in autumn, it's still quite hot. So I'm not going to really stress too much about this, but once it gets to winter, I'm going to hope that this is going to be like my daily colored lip. That's what I'm going to go quite hard on this. So there we go. As promised, I've got my little Nabla eyeshadow palette. This is the Cutie palette in Nude. Let's zoom in for the reveal. Woo! Okay, so there's pan here and there's pan here. This one I hit today. This one I hit the other day, but you can see that those are the two shades I use the most. This one is probably the third, and this is generally how I've been wearing it. So I've got the shimmery bronze color on the lower lash line and on the lid, and then I've got that mauvey. It's actually a cream formula, so it's more like a putty formula. That's just in the crease to blend it out. But yeah, that's how I've been using those. And I'll have photos on the screen compared to last check-in so you can see what it looked like. And realistically, I haven't been using this as much as I could be, but those are the shades that I reach for most, and because they are quite soft, it's kind of been easy to get through them, which is nice. So even though I have been inspired by color eyeliners and like bright lips and that kind of stuff, which I don't have in my project pan so much, I really like the fact that this is a flexible enough project where I can still make progress on some core items while being inspired by some other things. And then when I'm not inspired by those, I can come back and sort of make progress on those areas again. So as long as I'm making progress every month, I don't really care if I'm neglecting certain areas. Like, it is what it is. It's got to work for your lifestyle. It's got to work for your mood. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that progress. So let me know how you're going with your project pan if you're doing one. If not, what's your favorite makeup item of the month? What have you been loving? Is there a style you've been loving? Like, I'm colored mascara and colored liner. I'm loving it. Are you loving nude lips? Are you loving blush? Are you back into highlighter? You let me know. Have you found a cool foundation that you really love? Let me know in the comments and I'll have a chat to you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you Soon, it'll be a declutter, I promise. And then also a MAC full face. I had to buy a few more products to complete the MAC full face, but I'm looking forward to an old school MAC full face. Get ready with me type thing. So subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I also have a fragrance channel now. So if you want to see me smell things, like I'm about to film something about lemon fragrances, you'll find me there. So big thank you to my members for supporting my channel. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.